Okay, welcome to this episode. This time it's going to be working on, it's actually, as the title suggests, a New Zealand Tonka, which you can tell because the driving side is on the other side. Simple. And they came out in weird colours. This actually is a green. You can kind of see the original colour there, like a John Deere. I think it is pretty much green. It's kind of sun faded. Orange cement barrel, which is basically, I don't know, just a jumble of parts they pretty much put together, colours and so on. The water tank that goes on it's still white, but yeah, Structo make this pretty much this colour, so maybe that's all they could get at the point of time, but this one's been definitely used. It's one from when we were a kid, and so yeah, I used it for other things. Turned into a remote control timing a car, used a cab, so just got to solder up that hole there. But yeah, I think first things first is to pull her apart. Just going to take a heat gun and see if we can get these decals off, and then strip her down, and then I think I'll sandblast it, and then I'll fix that hole in the front. A few little things, typical things where this top part gets bent. Got a little crease in there to fix these a bit. These are a little bit bent. Straighten those out, but otherwise everything else is pretty good. So yeah, I'll get into her, strip her down. So with the wheels, the hubs here and that, I want to keep them all still. I find the best way with these is I tend to use a bit of a diminished wire brush. You can probably get a smaller one kind of, because I only want to clean up the actual hubs while they're on there, because I want to reuse them. And any of the bare steel parts, axles and so on. I'll do the axles when they come off, but these hubs are easier, this little fiddlier, are easier to do in there. Like I say, just stay within there so you don't damage all the actual outside here. And that, yeah, just clean up those bits. So we managed to get that off. It is just a kind of push on rivet. Just put the vice grips on there, and then use another pair of pliers to turn it. There's a couple of teeth marks in it, but it'll still be usable. Just gonna put the vice grips on here and just see if we can get this one turning, get it popped off, and then it's already loose at this end, it's not really connected, so once this is off I should be able to pull that off and that should drop out. And yeah, then I can just slide that way, I guess. Actually, I guess I'll have to take this wheel off as well to get this out. And then we're just left with taking the rivets off here. So we ended up just drilling the top of the rivet out. Came out fairly easy. Yeah, so that's the chassis all done. Add it to a pile. Shit there. Now I do want to take okay, it looks like yeah, that front piece comes off and the back piece is out. Okay, that actually came off ridiculous easy. Just squeeze together just slightly and tilt it. That's that one done. think, yeah, this is the same, just, yeah, and you're done. So let's just try and see if I can straighten that up a little bit more. Just get that crease out of it. And work on this piece. See if I can kind of straighten it before I do want to take it off. I think I cut this rivet off, but I want to kind of straighten it before I take it off. See if I can. I think we got that looking a little bit better. A little straighter. Made the creases less noticeable. I'll start working on this one, see if I can tidy it up a bit before I take it off. And then that should be the dismantling done. A little straighter, but I think I'm going to have to take it off because it's just been bent up in there. So the best way is to take it off and then bend it flat. Okay, it's got clamped in, but that looks a lot better. Okay, next morning. So I've been mucking around with the sandblaster. I've only just bought it, so just been sorting it out. But as you can see, it's working. Just the cab and so on, all bits and pieces. It's working pretty well. And toyed around with the wire brushing the hubs, just clean them up, and then I just use gun oil. This is the one I use. Just kind of wipe it down. I tried one of the axles. I actually sandblasted the axle and then just oiled that, which I'm quite happy with. I might do the rest of those. But yeah, as to these, I'll just wire brush them inside and out, clean them up. So kind of keep some of the original look. I don't want it to be perfect, look like it was brand new. I'd rather have it looking some of its old stuff there. Like I say, I do have some Revo parts. Okay, that's pretty much it. Got them back, pretty much bare metal. Got a little bit of just kind of glue in some spots, which I kind of just scraped off. This back, we've got pretty much our paints. It's got a standard gloss white for the cab and the chut, which are white. Dual wheel mounts there. We'll do with the gloss black. It was a matte black just because of age, I'm guessing, so we'll just do a light coat on that with black, gloss black. Just using a standard primer. And I've got the John Deere green. That'll be the cab. Everything else, say bar the cab and the chut and the rear wheel supports there. Okay, got that pretty well done. One I do it just use the soldering iron. This is the same one I use for plastic welding. Just change the tip out. Butter, and then you just use some tanning flux, which you get from any Home Depot. Brush that on around the hole, and then it'll just take better. So I probably will just, I'm just going to put little imperfections just in there. Some glazing putty, just a thin amount, and let it dry, clean it up, and that should fix that. It's not too bad. I'll put a little bit on the inside to smooth it off as well. And that should do that, and then that should be my day. Good morning. Next day, so gotta do some painting. She snowed a little bit outside last night, so normally I'd probably hang the stuff outside, but had to kind of jimmy up a bit of indoor painting with limited room today. Just got one of the old boxes, cut her open, and gonna start painting the cab first. I just wiped it down, some degreaser, just to make sure all the paint takes. So we're almost done. Doesn't come out too bad. I'll fix on the there, it's not too bad. Leave some sanding. I think it's good to point out that you don't want to fix up all the little dents. I mean, a big hole through the hood, yes, but little dents and stuff that have been attained to actual use, I think are worth leaving. We'll need a light sand. I've got a little bit of imperfections on it. You don't want to layer the paint on too thick either. I'm going to flip this over and paint the top. Yeah, don't want to layer on too thick. You got to remember that really it was just a one coat with the colour without primer originally. So yeah, don't layer it on too thick, otherwise you're not going to fit things like your cab back in, because you'll make the paint too thick. Again, the camera shows the green a lot brighter than it actually is. Although it is a little brighter, although it comes up there, I'm kind of brighter than it looks. Would have been nice if it had been a little darker. But. Okay, our rivet press G C-clamp, what you want to call it. It's like a C-clamp. Came today. This one came off AliExpress. It's about half the price of the one in the States. So I went with that. I think the one in the States I liked it because it was smaller, but it was like double the price, so I had to go with the wallet in this one. And then the rivets, they're all 1/8 in say diameter. And then I just paid $64 on Amazon, Canadian, and got a gazillion different types or lengths. So this is the shortest one I've chosen. We'll just put this mount back on for the chut. Press it on, and the rivet dome part comes from the back. You sit in the back, and that's the way it went. And then the part flanges out here. So see how it goes. Looks pretty simple. Just interested to see how it flanges it out and how tight we can get it. Okay, I've got a few parts in, but while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do this. I did get some of the tips from Gasoline Alley Toys, but they're too small for this, but I'm going to use them for now. I'm going to stretch them over. We'll use them. They don't quite look right. They should be longer almost. Maybe sort of some later, but they'll do for now. So we'll thread this back through, which we can do now. Just slide it back in. I'll line it up. I think what I'll do is just going to dab a little bit of Gorilla Glue just on the inside of each side, just to hold it there. I'm not sure how that was held. I don't know if that was held in just by force before, or just move back and forth maybe. But yeah, I'll line it up and then just dab a little bit of glue on the inside, and that should do it. Stop moving around. We'll just measure it up both sides, kind of make it even there, and that should take care of that. And then I've got the replacement gear for the underneath, the turbine, front axle to the rear turbine, cement barrel there. So we'll get that in to the chassis. I can stick on the front wheels. I did end up reordering the some white walls, some original not repo ones, to replace these ones. These ones are a bit rough. Kind of gave in and got those. And actually while I was doing that, I got the funnel as well. Again, I do like the stuff that comes from Gasoline Alley Toys, but yeah, for this one I just wanted to kind of go original, so I found a funnel there on eBay and a windshield, so we'll get that, wait for that to come, and then we'll get that in. So we've got that all seated in there, just leveled it up. The reason I use a Gorilla Glue, I had thought about epoxy, but again, if someone wants to take this off, then at least I think they should be able to get that off. Okay, so I'll just put this one on, and then we should be able to slot this in and put the wheels back on, I think, or maybe I'll let that dry and then put the wheels back on. Okay, I just got kind of things glued up there, but I'm just checking that this lines up, which is sitting right on top of the two are meshing together, and my rivet holes are lined up there pretty good. So I think that's where it should be. I mean, the shaft should be flush anyway to the end, and it should match up. So I think that's good. So I think I'll wait till that dries before I go messing around and having to press these wheels back on, these rivets back on to hold the wheels on. But yeah. Okay, this has come out not too bad. See that back there. Pretty much sitting right against that. Pulling apart. That kind of meshes in there pretty good. Like that. Once he's going. So I'll put these wheels on, back on, and these rivets back in. Kind of just cleaned them up and took the burrs off them. Reuse the old ones. Actually, I've got to take it a little bit, just file a bit more of the burr off the top there. So I just put the rivet in there first, and then I'll put it on. I think it's the easiest way. Just gonna put it on there, stand it up, and just hammer it in. Figure. Okay, that worked pretty well. And that seems to turn pretty good there. Let's get the other one on. And that's all that back together. Okay, that is her. Nicely back together. Okay, we'll catch you when the next parts come in. So just one more thing I wanted to do today, which I remembered I can do, is put the rivet this back to the chassis. I got a bunch of these hollow points for $64, a whole bunch of different sizes of Amazon. The 1/8, so they fit and suit the Tonkas. The clamp I got off AliExpress. It was about $74 Canadian. It's just a lot cheaper than what I can get from the States. Yeah, it worked pretty good on this. I had the room, but I can adjust it both sides, so I can clamp it quite in. Right in. I just have to see if I can knock these down. These don't really move so much. I have to hammer them down just to get them out of the way for now. And see if we can get in here and see how it goes. That's what she looks like. I ended up modifying it a little bit, cutting about that much off the one side, kind of the hollow point side that tends to be on the inside. Doesn't seem to affect too much. It'd be nice if this was a bit smaller. Just bring it in, maybe something I can modify later. But yeah, just put the screwdriver in there just to hold this side in from falling down, and then kind of just adjusted this so I could have enough room. It works pretty well just to have enough room there to adjust that. You just have to drill down the middle because these end pieces slot in into the end there. So you just drill it the depth you need. I just made sure it would still fit inside here and still had enough adjustment in here. I think it just has enough room to what we need to do. But that's fully compressed there, so we'll take it off and have a look, see what she looks like. Okay, that came out pretty good. Compressed pretty good there. And that'd be like that's probably like a 1/4 inch one I was using there, I would say. So now that's pretty good. I'll do the other side here. Yeah, I'll just give you a shot before I tighten this one up. So it fits in just the bolt here, fits just in enough in that tight spot. It'll be interesting as I go forward on the other Tonka trucks in there. I got a dump truck I got to do to see if this clamp still works. But for now it's working, so carry on. That's them there. Come out pretty good. Not bad. Actually pretty good, actually. It holds itself up till it gets worn in. But okay, the parts are in. I did end up getting those policeman hubs, see if they work. And they're not brand new ones, they are off a used one. Same with the bumpers I got. So I'm keeping these hubs a bit more authentic looking, then I wanted to replace the bumpers with this one. They'd been lost in this one actually, so I need some there. So we got those. I dug up a tunnel, an old genuine one, and then the windshield, I think I said that last year. Got more of a genuine or a original there. Just thinner plastic. The placement ones are good, but just slightly thick is the only problem. Yeah, you can kind of really see, but it's almost twice, or not quite twice the thickness. But so I'll probably get that windshield in first. We'll get these white walls put in and get the hubs on the front, and then just got the funnel and the bumpers to put on, and we're done. So yeah, it does fit a lot easier than the aftermarket gasoline alley one. But like I say, if you can't get anything else, the gasoline alley one is good. But the originals do fit in there just a little bit better, just a little thinner, that's all. Okay, that's the replacement ones. Do like the used look a little bit off-white, not quite. Depends what you want. Hey, if you're looking for a brand new factory model, then yeah, I'd go for the repos, nice and bright. And just if you're wondering, I'd put the hubs in, the middle hubs in first into your white walls, and then clip the white walls into your tyres, and they'll come up nicely nice. And I guess we should just quickly go over the windshield actually while I remember. The kind of just push and clip, they kind of got little grooves in once they're kind of spring loaded, the actual cab roof. You kind of push it in and it'll click forward. Same as getting it out, you've got to kind of push them back and up to get them out. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is the bumper. So we'll stick on the upper, and then we've got to set the cab on, bend the tabs around, and we're good. Okay, so we gave them the brush up. I'm not trying to clean up every little piece of speck off it, just going to brush them down a little bit. So then I've rubbed the gun barrel oil over this top guy just to darken it down, give it a bit of a sheen. This one I haven't done yet, just to show you the difference, how the metal darkens down a little bit. And that still has that nice kind of vintage look. So I'll do that to that one. We'll get this upper bumper in, and then we'll get the cab on and rivet that bumper on. And it'll just be the funnel. It's the last thing we're going to do. And the decals on the door. Okay, that's them all clipped in. Just do a little bit of, always fit your bumper on and just see how well it fits. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just touch it up, especially if it's been pulled off a original one. I kind of touch it up a little bit, but not perfect. Again, I'm not after perfect. So let's just show you this clamp here, the one I got from AliExpress. So you can swap the end pieces around depending on which way you do it. So again, I cut mine down. What did I cut down? But almost about 1 inch, I think, off this. But with just reversing it around, you can still swap and get the clamp in to fairly tight spots. Thought about cutting these arms down a little bit, but for now it's working. So just give you a quick look at that. If you're looking for something a little cheaper, I'll put a link on the in the description for you. But yeah, carry on, get the other one in. Okay, that's it on. Sitting nicely. So yeah, the New Zealand bumper is a little different for the year 60s. I think the American ones, these come from an earlier model, I think, slightly earlier. But yeah, a bit of a weird mashup of just parts I think they could get at the time and stuff. So yeah, coming together. Okay, so decals, they use the Mound Minnesota ones for this year, and they look like they're almost pretty much, the bottom seems to ride at the bottom line here, not that little crease, the upper crease, the lower, and then pretty much level with the door. That's where we'll go with them. Do those and then we'll call it done. Okay, that's it for this one. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. See more other stuff, and we'll catch you later.